do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I thought it would be interesting for me to reflect and share my opinion with the 2021 Canadian election. I live in Canada. I think with everything that we've been through right now, this is a very selfish, politically fueled, careless endeavor. British Columbia is on fire. People have lost their livelihoods. There's people struggling. There's people struggling with their mental health from COVID-19. There's people struggling with actual physical health from COVID-19 and COVID-19 related issues, anxiety, stress, injury, you name it. So for the Canadian government to pull a fast one and try to make some sort of political move in the middle of this is just wildly deviant. Sinister is the right word. It's sinister. But looking into it, peace and acceptance, deal with what you're dealt with. What is the best, in my opinion, this is just me reflecting on my own thoughts here. How should one vote in this situation? And I personally have never voted. I voted once when I was 18 years old because my mom took me. And that was the last time. And my stance with that is even stronger today than it was then. And it's hardly anything to do with apathy. It has nothing to do with being a strong citizen. It's actually the opposite of those things. Or being a strong citizen, in my opinion. A competent, navigating citizen of this country. Why don't I vote? Because I am an occultist and I understand anyone who knows the tree of life and the Sephiroth will look at the two emanations of Hesed and Geburah directly across from one another, opposing each other from the left and right pillars. And the polarization between these two emanations has been utilized and forced upon populations and groups of people for a long time now. And anyone who doesn't know, Geburah is the color red and Hesed is the color blue. And you'll see the red and blue fighting each other in all aspects of human psychology. They're two primary colors, they fight each other. You can see that's what they did with the Black Panthers in the United States and split them into the segregated blood and Crip gangs, the red and the blue. You see it in American politics with the Democrats and the Republicans, the red and the blue. You see it in Canada with politics, the red and the blue, the Liberals and the Conservative Party. And it's a cruel trick. It's a cool trick of the illusion of choice. Because the red and the blue is a polarization of some of yourself where you should have unity. It's taken your unified stance and your unified well-being and split it into two parts and declared that they are separate entities from one another, where everyone has some form of conservative belief or opinion, and all those same people have some form of liberal belief and opinion. There's things that the liberals have done in this country that are absolutely great for the cause of humanity. All the social movements, like everyone, we should not progress at the cost of groups of people, or we should not progress at the expense of certain individuals. That's not, nobody, I don't think, few people who are of sound mind and character and health want to do better if that means hurting other people. There's people like that, but I think the vast majority of us would not subscribe to that. Likewise with conservatives, they're more economy focused and making sure everyone's able to support themselves and pull themselves up by their bootstraps and have opportunities for jobs in the economy and all these things. I don't think there's anyone who wouldn't agree with both sides of those. So why is it one or the other? Why have these been split? And I honestly believe it's a cruel trick. It's the illusion of choice. It's the illusion of democracy. And casting a vote is, in my opinion, of course, casting a vote is a petition of consent. I consent to this, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Doesn't matter who wins. All those guys when the cameras are off and they're all going to the bank, they're all laughing. Every single fucking one of those politicians are laughing. They're all greasy, dude. Every single one of them. So, how do you vote? What the fuck am I talking about? There's only one way that the individual in our country can vote. And you vote with your green, baby. Every time you spend $1. Every time you spend $1, that's you casting a vote. I don't want to get anyone high and mighty in my face telling me they pick red or blue or green or orange once every 4 years and they've committed their civic duty. Fuck you. You picked a color every 4 years and that's your contribution. I picked red. I picked blue. What kind of fucking intellectual engagement in society is that? You picked a color. Because every single one of those parties is going to steal from you. Every single one of those parties is laughing at the bank, fucking you over. Every single one of them. The only way for you to personally engage in society in a willful way is to spend your money the way you vote. All the personal responsibility is on your shoulders. You don't get a scapegoat. You don't get to let a blue or red goat run off into the forest and now you've washed of all your sins. This is the new Aeon, homie. Sorry. It's all your responsibility. The second way you're making votes is your day-to-day personal behavior. Your behaviors. Where you spend your attention. Where you spend your time. Your time and attention is a valuable commodity. That's why everyone in all the media and all the data companies and all the computer companies and all the tabloids, that's why they're all fighting for your attention. Because your attention is your time. And your time and your attention is extremely valuable. Because it's convincing you, hypnotizing you, mesmerizing you, persuading you, coercing you to spend your energy and your cash. At the end of the day, when some political party gets in, it's just their corporate back scratchers that they get to grease the wheel and change the laws for whoever it is that they're representing. All those politicians, the vast majority of all the ministers and MPPs and LMNOPs and all that shit, they're all salted in by corporations. Transportation people have The corporations of transportation salt in people into as transportation ministers who secretly represent those corporations, and they're making laws not for the betterment of the individual, but to grease the wheel for their company. Newsflash, that's not new. Everyone's known that for the last 100 fucking years. Pull your head out of your ass, man. You still think you're gonna choose red or blue and then just park your fat ass back in front of the TV, watch the news and go, whoa, we got 4 years. Here we go. And just cash out and just keep living like shit and just keep not working on yourself and just keep blindly spending money and wasting resources. Sorry. I'm not talking to anyone in specifically. I think there's everyone who votes for liberal and everyone who votes for conservative, we're all very good people at heart. Every man and every woman is a star. And I never forget that. But we're in a trance right now, and there's something. Typically, I have a very good track record of just accepting the political system and being at peace with it and just not even paying attention to it, to be honest with you. Because I know that the end result is typically going to be the same no matter who gets in power, because they're all working off the same agenda. They just waving different hype to sway the population to think that the population's involved. It's a horse and pony show. There's a right wing and a left wing, but there's a body in the middle, and both those wings flap and that body moves. And it's all been a big division. Oh man, the segregation and the discrimination, that's the part that's scary about it. Justin Trudeau is a psychopath, man. His campaign is based upon segregating and discriminating unvaccinated people. That's totally fucked. That's totally fucked. You know? How many times in human history have you heard a leader talking about segregating and then discriminating against a group of people? List all those times on a piece of paper and see what you come up with. It's very scary. It's a very scary time for this country. I'm concerned. Am I saying you shouldn't vote? No. You do you, homie. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. You do your will, I'll do mine. And in the end, we'll all get there together. I think the current world is very hyped up on amphetamines and fucking Adderall and shit, because we need to dial things back down to how Beatles were talking in the 60s, how they got through all that shit in the 60s, you know? We can work it out, man. We can work it out. Everyone calm down. Let's be peaceful. Let's share the love. Slow down. Start thinking about each other and stop trying to fight each other. They're pumping all sorts. They're pumping anything they can think of to inject into society to cause controversy and division. It's very upsetting to me. What is it? Well, you can't even have a political debate anymore. There is no more political debates. You can't be left wing or right wing anymore. That doesn't exist. You're far right or you're far left. Fuck you. Why can't somebody have an opinion without being a radical? There's very few radicals in this world, and they just like to they're trying to make you feel like anyone who doesn't agree with your opinion is a fucking radical terrorist. And they're just causing split. They're causing segregation. And they're going to be laughing all the way to the bank, dog. They already are. Laughing in your face while you watch people at YouTube losing their shit. Doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. Doesn't matter if you identify as a liberal or a conservative or a Republican or a Democrat. You're looking at the other side, and the other side looks crazy. That's theatrics. That's horse and pony show, man. Every man and every woman is a star, and we all just want the best in life. Go walk down the street. There's crazy people, there's psychopaths, but those are the ones that get all the spotlights on them, and that makes it seem like the whole world is like that, you know? I think the most important thing right now for the world is for the individual to accept the responsibility of their own behavior, which means how they spend their time, energy, and attention. Starting with you, starting with me. Let the rest of the world go to shit, but the only thing that you have control over is yourself. And if you have some very profound opinion or some very radical opinion, stop and start with yourself and how much of you are contributing. Let's ban all the plastic straws. How many plexi shields did we put up this year? A lot more than the straws are going to save. Anyway, I'm kind of skating all over on this one. It's just it's intense. It's intense. Hang in there. If you can hear me, hang in there, man. We'll get through this. One day at a time. You do you. Follow your heart. Listen to your will. Listen to your angel. Every man and every woman is a star, and there's enough space, and there's enough time, and enough resources for each and every one of us. Love is the law. Love under